Okay, so 5:38 on the 8th. And today's Sunday, so today's the day. Today's our big day. Like, I'm really curious to see what happens today. You know what's weird? Is that, so normally I would get paid on the 9th. Like, for years and years and years and years and years, I got paid on the 9th. The only way to not be paid on the 9th is if the 9th falls on the weekend. If the 9th falls on the weekend, then you get paid the Friday before. And so and I've been, and this paycheck comes from long-term disability. It is when I got my brain injury and I worked for the state, and they had good insurance on us. So I was just, everything the way it worked was just worked out good. Even though it wasn't the way I was trying to go, what I wanted and what I thought I was going was different. But, you know, it threw me for a loop and it took me in a different direction. And but so I went on to long-term disability, and they've been paying me, since, uh, since 2011, I think, because I got my brain injury in '09. I got diagnosed though in 11, I think. No. Yeah. Yeah, I did. That's when I got diagnosed. I went to the doctor a bunch of times before that, but they kept saying, oh, it's your hormones, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. And then finally, it was my doctor who was like, kept saying I was, I don't remember what she said her staff, something with dealing with me. Like, if they would tell me stuff and then I couldn't remember, and then I'd call back or something. I'm not sure. But she said that she wanted to test my memory. And so then she did, and then I was failing all the tests and failing all the tests. And it put me through more tests and more tests and more tests. And so, anyways, so that's when the disability got filed, and I went on disability. That's when I lost my nursing license. And that's why I went on that's why they put me on disability, because they wouldn't let me work. And even the licensing board was threatening me that they were going to file charges on me if they found out that I had been working with a brain injury. I've told this story before, so I'm not going to go into the whole thing. So anyways, so since 2011, I've been getting paid by this insurance company on the 9th every year, or every month. And so, yesterday I was like, man, I gotta wait till Monday to go get groceries, and it's the end of the month. And so I'm like slim pickings. And so I was like, man, I should go get water again and just at least have water. And then I was like, I did order some graham crackers on a credit card. I was like, I'll just get I'll get a bunch of graham crackers. I'll eat graham crackers. So I'd ordered those, and then I was like, okay, maybe I should get a few things on credit card. And then, water. I couldn't get water on credit card. So I looked up how much money was in my account. My check was in. I was like, what? How is my check in? And I was like, looking, is it a holiday Monday? Doesn't say anything on my thing about there being a holiday Monday. So I was like, that is so weird. And I don't even know when it's fallen on a holiday, if it's paid the Friday before, when Monday is a holiday. But and it's on the 9th. Oh no, but I never get my check early is what I'm saying. Never in all these years. Since 2011, and now it's 2026, and it's always been on the 9th. And then yesterday I got it early, and I went in to look to see how much money I had in there, because I had a couple bucks. I was trying to figure out how much water I could get. And when I saw my check was in there, I was like, what? I threw on my clothes. I go running out the door. The dogs are spinning like, what is she doing? I go running out the door, go jump in my car, and zoom to the grocery store. and just start loading up. I mean, my thing, it looks like I'm trying to load up the bunker for sure. I was getting, like I didn't just get 2 English muffins, I got 6. I didn't just get 4 frozen vegetables for the dog food, I got 8. I was like loading up. And so then I went to Costco. Like, what a freaking nightmare. Go to Costco on a Saturday. Oh my God. And not only on a Saturday, and I was going to get a pizza because that is so handy. I have my nose. That's so handy. Well, it's for one person. Some people, they would eat their family would eat it one shot. But for me, I can take out all these pieces of pizza, wrap them up, and put them in the freezer. And then when I take them out and thaw them out and recook them, they're just as good. I can't tell. It doesn't taste like, it's good. So, and I learned that a long while ago when I was at my mom's. And so I've been doing it ever since. And so I'll get one of those $10 pizzas because that is like $2 a meal. It's like it's cheap. So I got a big pizza and I went up and I ordered it as soon as I got in Costco. I went up to the front and put in my order. Well, first I asked her how long for a whole pizza, and because it's like right at lunchtime too. And she said about 20 minutes. They always say 20 minutes. Don't trust them. I was like, okay. I put in my order. I go get my stuff. And I swear to God, some people at Costco, they're just like old people. Like, what do we want to do? Well, let's just go walk around Costco slowly. Like, we'll just slowly take our time and block the aisles. It's like, oh my God. And then some people like, let's take the whole family. Let's everybody go. Let's all spread out. It's like, gosh, you guys, some of us are in a hurry. We just want in and out. And the lines, oh my God, the lines. And everybody was just like full. But at the freaking, up by the pizza thing, there was people getting like 20 pizzas. It was insane. And I was like, okay, so we got a lot of Super Bowl parties going on here. People are just loading up on all this stuff. So everybody was getting all ready for their party. It's like, oh, well, hopefully getting ready for WW3. It's not looking good. And so but they're ready to party. That's what they're ready for. It's like, woo, I think this is gonna get crazy personally. But anyways, but it could come and go just like nothing. But it just seems like, boy, this is really coming in hot. Just the way that people just, give me a party. I don't care about anything in the world, especially because you got so many people who are crying. They can't go to work. They're so upset. They're so angry. How are we supposed to function after we know what's going on in this world? It's like, yeah, we've had to go through that. We've had to come to terms with it. We've had to be called crazy. Yeah, we've all experienced this, and they're just going through it. And they want some justice. They're all so upset. And so you got this whole thing, like there was somebody at the Atlanta airport. They start freaking out. They're going through the airport screaming something about, you guys just keep doing everything the way you do it. And everybody knows what's going on in this world. Just going to town like, and looking super crazy. But that's how, people are feeling like, it's really pushing them over the edge because it's such heinous BS, man. And so they're very upset and they're all freaking out. And then you got the whole group of people who are like, you guys, they wouldn't be releasing this if it wasn't for a distraction. There's no way. This is stuff that people would get red tied over. This is not stuff that they would have out for the GP to understand. So there's a reason why this is being allowed out right now. And personally, and I know I'm not the only one, personally, I think it's because of what's coming and everything. When you are focused on healing, you just can see all the stuff that they do to corrupt the mind, to keep people in the loop. And so it's obvious. And so, yeah, I definitely think that they are trying to suck people in because it's really important, especially for things that are going to be happening, to be working on yourself, not just be stuck in this loop of pain and suffering. And so anyways, I think that that is a big part of it. And which in these releases, like, stuff gets weirder and weirder with Erica. Like, I don't even get like what the deal is. Like, because I know some of the stuff on Donald is lies, and then Allie, she's one of the most outspoken people who have been dealt with traffic problems and has been used by the elite. And so she has been speaking out for years, and she's been on the run with her adoptive mother. And so she spoke out again because she said people keep attacking her and saying, you know, Donald did all this. And so she was like, Donald didn't do any of this stuff. I've never seen him do anything. And she was like, just think about it. All the stuff that they have pulled out on him, all of the different times, and they were going to arrest him, they were going to impeach him, they were going to do this, they were going to do, why wouldn't they have pulled that out if it was true? Why would it be all of a sudden, you know, when it's coming out on these other people, that they're throwing him in there? Like, for everything they've tried to take him down for, they could have taken him down for that. So she's like, use your brain. And see, that's how I look at it too. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they've taken him to court. They've done all this stuff. And so, yeah, if he was this big, you know, criminal person that they try and market him as, that he would. But see, you got a group of people who think he's able to get away with it. It's like, no. You're looking at it from, you know, the back door. You got to come around in front and look through. And so the in the back door, yeah, you got the ones that are telling you, you know, what you're looking at. They're telling you what you're looking at. But no, you got to come around front and look with your own eyes and see it clearly. So anyways, yeah. And I know that they make up stuff. So I don't know about this Erica BS. You know, to me, it's kind of like she is being... It's not even just her being exposed. I think it's like a way of life or something. And I don't know. Like, so much stuff comes out on her that is the opposite of the character she tries to pretend to be. Especially now that she's like the TP goddess or whatever the hell she thinks she is. So it's so funny if you've ever seen these videos. It shows like a normal woman in mourning, you know, but this is Erica, and she comes out doing flips and glitter suits and dancing across the stage. It's really funny. Whoever made those videos is funny. But anyways, the part now that, you know, Charlie had already was having her followed, found out she was cheating, so he wrote her out of the will and gave everything to his kids. Now she's come out and said they're not even his kids. It's like, oh my God, this shit is so ridiculous. But now somebody is tearing up Twitter and showing old what was that, conversations that they had with her back when they were 15 years old, and Erica was 26. And Erica was, I don't know what she was trying to do, honestly. Was she trying to groom her? Was she trying to get her for her own? Was she just, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. And these handlers are, you know, expert groomers. So if she just was trying to lure her, come with me, child. Or if she was trying to be like, oh, how about me and you couple up? Because the stuff that she says is very, like, I don't know, like, just some of the stuff that, yeah, I don't know. These people going and talking to kids like this. It's like, oh my God. I was a kid and I didn't talk to kids like that. And so, yeah, I've just never been one of those girls who was attracted to kids. Like, It just is, even when I was a kid, I wasn't. So, anyways, so that whole thing, there's just more and more stuff coming out on her. And so it just gets weirder and weirder. But then, the other day, you know what's weird is like if I look at, like, if you take a picture, you look different, and you look in the mirror, you look different, and you do a video, like, it's weird. It's like, sometimes it's like, I wonder what I really look like. I would like to go in one of those backward mirrors or something. There's some kind of mirror that you can look at and you can actually see what you look like, because it shows you without all the distortion. Like, everything has a distortion. So I don't know. I was just noticing that yesterday. But anyway, so zippity doo dah day up to the store, get my stuff, and go into Costco. I have to wait forever to get this damn pizza. And finally get my pizza, freaking go. And but right as I pulled in, I got a front spot. It was fucking so, it was like the gods were upon me. Yeah, but they were, because the guy was walking past me right at that moment and starts, hey, hey. So I rolled out my window and he goes, you got a flat tire. Are you fucking kidding me? So I get out of the car and go look. And yeah, I got to me, I was thinking like a low tire, but apparently it was flat. And so, I just pull in my parking spot, because I'm not giving that bitch up. So I pull in my parking spot and I go in, get my shit, come out, and I'm like a mile and a half from the tire store that I got my tires at. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll zip down there, and I'm not going to just go put air in it, because probably have something, and then I'm going to be out, you know. So, because why would a brand new tire be losing air unless there's some funky malfunction problem? So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to zip down there and have them look at it. So that's what I do. And I go down there, they get it back, and then it comes out and says, yeah, we can't do anything to fix it now because you rode on it while it was flat. I was like, I didn't even know it was freaking flat. I don't even know when it became flat. And, but luckily you have a warranty. So we'll put the new tire on, but you have to pay to have the tire put on. Are you fucking with me right now? So I got my new tire for warranty for free, but then I had to pay, and then I had to reinsurance the new tire. I was like, what in the funky BS corporate nonsense are we fucking doing here, man? It's like, oh, I'm glad I paid for the warranty. It's like, Jesus Christ. So, whatever, $50 later, leave that damn place, fuming. I was just like, God damn it, I should have went to Les Schwab. I was just like, oh, God. And who knows, probably Les Schwab would have done the same thing. This was Big O, so, the Big O tires. Oh, God. So, anyways, then I come back, and I said, well, what was the problem? Why was it flat? And he said, well, there's a screw in it. It's like, a screw in it? And he's like, yeah, there's a lot of debris in the streets. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So, so then I keep thinking, well, where in the hell, like, this is my second flat tire. Like, I don't know when the last time I even had a flat tire. I think I had a flat tire way back, like, fucking in 06 or something, that I had a flat tire. And I was on my way to a hospital. I was working out, and I went on my way to the hospital, and I pulled over, and then some guy pulled over, changed my tire for me, and and that was that. And so that was such a long time ago, like 10 years ago. No, 20 years ago. That's 20 freaking years ago. Is that seriously 20 years ago? 06, and then 16, 26. Whoa, God, time is weird. That is so weird. So, anyways, yeah, I hadn't had any flat tires. And so now a blowout, and now this flat tire in like a month. And even when I was there, and I said, I just got these tires, and he's like, oh, when? And, I guess everybody comes in and says that. I don't know. And I said like a couple weeks ago. And so he gets my name, he looks it up, and then sees I have a warranty. And then, which I'm glad I got the warranty. And so but I was thinking, you know what? That would have been when I went to get groceries before. So I would have really been like a month ago. But see, I don't ever drive. I don't ever go anywhere. I just go get my food and I come back and hang out with the dogs. And when I go get food, I try and get it like a month's worth. And then sometimes I have to leave though to go get water. I've had to leave to go to the vet. So, but I don't. And that's all really close to go into, because there's like further away town where the bigger stores are, and then there's the little town of the city, and so of the little town that I live outside of. So so I've had to drive a couple miles a couple of times, but yeah, I'm not out driving all the time like most people. And so I was like, man, I barely even driven. And I'm thinking like it's a couple weeks, like I barely put anything on those tires. And now already one has to be replaced. And then plus the way that time was, and I was thinking, man, that is so weird. It seems like it's only been a couple weeks, but if it's really been a month and I've barely even driven, like, I don't know, it just was messing with my head. How odd. That is so weird. Time. Everything is just seeming odd to me. I'm questioning everything. Like everything just seems so strange. So anyways, the what's next? There's something else I was gonna make. Okay, so okay. So one of the things that I think is kind of strange. So I had never heard of Bad Bunny. Never heard of him before in my life. And then, like in the past week, I started hearing people talk about Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny. Everybody's talking about Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny. And I'm like, I don't even know who Bad Bunny is. And one day somebody was saying something about Bad Bunny. Like I hear it a couple times a day. And so I went to go look up, who is Bad Bunny? And because I kept thinking maybe it was a girl, but it's a guy. And then somebody was saying something, I thought it was a football player, but no, he's a rapper from Puerto Rico. And so so then I was hearing that one side is being told that the other side was having a fit because he's an immigrant. How dare him play, because he's Super Bowl entertainment. How dare him be the entertainment? And then them saying, well, they want Kid Rock. And then the person who was telling me that, I was like, well, I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know anything about that. So I guess I'm not in that algorithm. I'm not in that drama because I haven't heard anything about that. And I just was like, I've just never heard of Bad Bunny. Now I hear about him every freaking day. Yeah. So then, so I don't know, honey. I don't know. She's been having a fit all morning and she wants to go in there and eat cake. But now, okay, just come over here. I don't know. I'm almost done. Not quite. But okay, so just stop. So anyways, I was like, I don't know. I never heard of Bad Bunny. I don't know anything about it. I'm not into the, this side wants this side wants that. This side's mad about this side's mad about that. It's like you just got to move out of these, trying to keep us trapped in sides all the fucking time. I mean, constantly bringing up stupid ass drama, just stuff like that. Like, this side wants this side wants that. Well, who cares what, like, geez, you guys take shit too seriously. It's that big a deal who freaking plays at the goddamn Super Bowl. Stella, stop it. I tried the other day to just ignore it, and she just was not having it. She just got louder and louder and louder and louder. Just like this. She's so dramatic. Stella, just get up and come over here then. You got yourself in it. I don't know. You do it. You fix it. I can't fix it. You fix it. You fix it. Oh. You fix it. God, she's cute. God, I love her so much. Okay, you fix it. There. See? I don't know what you think Mom can do. I can't pick you up. I can't even pick up Ruthie. She's trying to move that girl. And she just puts herself down like stone, like she wants to be right up against me while I'm sleeping. I'll try and turn over, and then I can't move. I'll try and push her, and she just puts down more, like, but trying to move her, she is so heavy. She is a rock. And when she's laying next to Stella, she's like as long as Stella almost, except for she's just not as, I mean, she's very sturdy and stuff, but she's not as big as Stella. Like, she's got ways to go. She'll never probably be as big as Stella, no way. Not, but anyway, she's still a big chunk. Big, heavy girl. So, anyways, so, the Big Bunny drama. So, anyways, I didn't know who the hell he was or anything. So then this morning, I saw somebody from Puerto Rico that was translating his words of his song, and it's very vulgar. It's very violent and vulgar. And so she was like, you guys can call me a sellout. I don't care, because she's Puerto Rican. And because there was obviously drama over those sides that get all caught up. And, you know, but an immigrant can't. There's even a guy who started a pretend call line. So if you suspect your neighbor is an illegal, call them, so it's a recording. So people call and say all sorts of stuff on there. It's like, what in the world is wrong with people? Like, God dang, man, people are freaking weird. And so it's like, Jesus, mind your business. Mind your damn business. And just who cares about some of this stuff? The people is like, oh my God. And yeah, it kind of reminds me of like when you're around somebody, you start chewing ice and they start losing their mind. It's like people focus too much on what other people are doing. It's like, just stop. Like, don't you have enough to focus on for yourself? And so, anyways, but this Puerto Rican lady, she was saying what the song was saying. And she said that he does not represent all Puerto Ricans. He definitely does not represent me, because he's kind of gangster and kind of, in this song, is about a gangster. And she said that the place he's talking about is very ghetto, and he's talking about drugs and, you know, a lot of sex stuff with somebody else's girl, and just a bunch of pervy stuff and everything. And so there's something about the people who, like, code readers or code breakers or whatever. There's a reason why he's doing this show, this halftime show or whatever. So there's always more to the story, which this whole ceremony of today's game is definitely a ritual, energy sucking ritual. Because you just think about, even when they pair two teams up, like what they do in life, and then they have two teams, and how upset people get. People get so serious about shit. And lately, I have seen so much footage of people being at games and brawls break out. Like, one of them was a woman start beating another woman because she's with her husband, so they're on one side, which I guess the husband and wife, like, two different teams. And so they're on the husband's side, and the girl, the wife, is cheering for the other team. Well, it pissed somebody else off so bad, she just starts pulling her hair and beating her up. And then they start fighting. And then there's just these weird fights, which also, think about, like, how much alcohol is consumed at this stuff. So there is alcohol, and then division. And then the energy that it creates of the tension and stuff, it is part of the ritual. It's a part of feeding into this system. And they keep the people trapped in it. And the people allow themselves to be trapped in it. Like it's comfortable to them or something to be this way, play this role, to be this character. And so, which this morning I was thinking about this. This is just a weird little thing because I was thinking about all these actresses that they get to play like the girl next door, but a lot of us are the girl next door and we're not playing it. We are it. And I was thinking that these people, they are paid to go play something they're not, and they're playing the characters that we are. And so I don't know, I just thought of that this morning. I thought it's so strange, but anyways, so and who knows, I mean, some of these girls who play the girl next door are definitely not the girl next door. And maybe they were at some point in their life and then they gave up that role to become a different role. But anyways, the roles of being like the super sport supporter or something and supporting your team and wearing their colors and all that, it goes to the extreme. And then to put the two opposing forces in a containment and then have them go at it, it's just like the whole thing is just so odd. But it's like as a being, or as a being of light, or as a eternal being, is to, when do you not participate? When do you say, like, I'm not a part of this? I'm not going to put my energy out for this. I'm not going to let you drain me. I'm going to, do something different. But we have all these people who play these roles in this world. And so it's like that's what keeps this world going in this certain direction, the people who play in these roles. That's why so many people, it's like the awakening has to do with you figuring it out for you. Each person has to figure it out. And it's like, it's not that we all figure it out at the same time, because also that is a part of your journey, is to be in isolation, to not be at the same place as everybody else, for everybody to be in different places at different times, because there's learning and growth from that, to be able to be a center and to be able to be individual. And so, and then it depends too where you're at as an individual, if you can claim your individuality. Because a lot of people, they, like there was a lot of people, it's funny because now you have all these people, oh, I knew about all this stuff for a long time, but they wouldn't say anything or tell anybody because they didn't want people to think they were crazy. But now that people are talking about it, now they're trying to be, well, I knew all about it the whole time. And so it's like, but why weren't you, the more of us that were saying that it was the truth, then was like the flipping of the numbers. But a lot of people hide from the truth because they want to be accepted by the others. They don't want to be looked at as the crazy one in the bunch. So it's important to be true to yourself. But it isn't like you have to go around trying to push people into your beliefs. But if something gets brought up, it's best to be true to yourself and what you believe, not just participate because everybody else is. Everybody else thinks that, this stuff, these theories are a bunch of, made up bullshit. And only to come to find out that none of it was made up. It's all a bunch of, this is the people that run this world. And then they had some weird Super Bowl commercial too, where now Ritz crackers, and it was a Ritz Island party. And so they do something about the island party, but all the comments showing this commercial are all talking about the island, and like everybody is like, so everybody is like knowing, everybody is awake to the people who are responding are now awake to so much of the nonsense. So that is like the changing. That's the important part of it, is the part where people are aware. And so people are aware, but then they are hung up in it because they're at that point in their process. So they are stuck in the place of just finding out. And it will be, a process to get through because they ignored it. Why did they ignore it? Why couldn't they hear it? How could it be this way? They've got to go through all these different things to get to release it. And but in any point, whatever you're working on, you just don't want to stay stuck and just going over the same things over and over and over. You want to figure out how to move through stuff and let things go, and not be let it take you down, because that's what this place wants you to do. And so there's more people. This one girl I just saw this morning, and she said that there are tons of people. This isn't just one person. This is like lots and lots of people. This has been going on for weeks, of people saying that this is it. This is the start of something. If it's the WW3, if it's, we have to be put away, if it's a big traumatic incident, whatever is going to be, something is supposedly going to change our lives today. And that's the speculation. And so I'm just like, yeah, it just seemed kind of like weird, that my check was in, and it was like I took it as a sign, like, go get your shit. So I went and got the stuff, but I kept thinking, man, that's just so weird. It just gives me more of the feeling like something's going down today. And so if the thing goes down, like what I had talked about yesterday, because there's no telling how or what will go down. And so this lady, she said that she knows people that knows things, and that she was told before quarantine happened that it was going to happen. And so she trusts that whatever, like, her internal instincts were telling her that this is big. I think she's religious, maybe, because she had like a proverb or something, whatever one of those things are, quoted a quote out of the Bible. And so then she was saying, and this person is telling her that today is going to be significant, something, and that we're going to go back into like the same kind of lockdown scenario as we have experienced before. And she said, because there's going to be looting, there's going to be all sorts of crazy stuff. So the cities will get really crazy if something goes down, because like a lot of people are not prepared. Like, they're all preparing for the party. They're out buying 20 pizzas and beers and dips and stuff like that. They're getting all the stuff to be ready for the party, not for, what am I going to eat if I can't get to the store for a couple weeks, which hopefully is a couple days. But I mean, I mean, we were in our homes for, I don't remember when you got to start going out to go get groceries and stuff. And maybe I had already gotten groceries and when it happened that time. But I remember after that, because I started ordering groceries and then would just go pick them up. I went to a grocery store a couple times, but then remember, you had to be all in your shopping costume, and I'm not about that. One of the things is that people get so mad. Like, you got to where, well, what I've got to do is breathe, and I can't breathe with that thing on. So that's what I got to do. If I want to be walking around, I got to breathe. And so you don't want me in your store because you think I may have something that's going to get on you. Well, you can't stay your distance from me. Then, yeah, I'll just order my stuff and pick it up and go home. I'm not going to go into a place. And I did at one point, and it seemed like it was months after stuff had gone. And people are still lingering, still sure that that's going to save their lives, which now in the files is said that it was all a big psyop, that it was all big, and like, which a lot of us knew. But being screamed and yelled at, like by grown-ass men, like, how dare you be in here? You're endangering us all. Well, wouldn't I have to be endangering us all if I was sick? And do you realize, like, in our whole existence, in our whole lives, that you have been shopping around sick people your whole entire life? Like, get a grip. Get a grip on reality, for fuck's sake. And so, anyways, but that's, been the whole tension is, and I feel like a lot of that type of tension comes from people who are so scared of death because they built up such hype around death and dying and sickness. And it's like, dude, you're not going to die. Nothing can kill you. Just, be aware. Nothing can kill you. It doesn't matter if you leave this storyline. You're just going into another one. And a lot of times you'll be confused and you won't even know you're gone. And so it's so different than what they have programmed people to believe, but the people always resort. They always resort to anger and control. Like, in order for them to feel safe, they need to control you. It's like, well, what you really need to do to feel safe is control this. You got to control your mind. You got to control your emotions. You got to figure out how to get control of yourself. And I've talked about this. I've talked about this a bunch of times. So, but I'll just say it again and go back over it slightly. Not as much as I have before, but that when I was younger and I was scared to death of needles. And so if I had to go into the doctor's office and they were going to use one on me, I would lose my mind. And I would have to be held down like a crazy person. And in order to get, something that, like a antibiotic or something like that. I don't remember what. I just remember this one time of that I was going to get one, and they were like holding me because I was like freaking the fuck out. I was like terrified of needles. And in the terror mind, you build it up. It's like this giant thing. It's huge. And so it is, it causes you to react in an unstable manner. And so when I went to, because I was a hairdresser when I first got out of school, I've already said, my dad had said, you're going to have to go to school or get a job. You're going to do something. And so one of my friends was going to hear it because I didn't know what to do. I wanted to go be a psychologist for kids. And I went down to the school and they said 9 more years of school. And I was like, oh, hell no. And so I went, I was talking to somebody and my friend said, oh, I'm going to go to hair school. Come to hair school with me. So I went and signed up and I went to hair school, even though it was not something I'd ever thought about before. And so I went to hair school and then became a hairdresser. And it wasn't like, something where I was like, oh, this is the greatest job ever. Because I felt, it was weird things. I just thought when people come in to get their haircut and they bring a picture, they think they're going to look like the picture. They think that you can turn them into this by putting this hair on them. And people leave very dissatisfied. And it wasn't, especially back then, it wasn't a lot of money. Haircuts were cheap, nothing like nowadays. And so it wasn't like you were getting rich off of doing hair. You had to really work your way up to, those fancy salons. And it was a big thing to try and get to that point. So anyways, when I left and I went to California, and then they said you needed more hours. So in Texas, it was 1,600 hours. and you could get your license. In California, it was 2,100 hours. So they said I was going to have to go back to school more to get my license there. So then when I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to go back to school, is that really what I want to do, is be a hairdresser? Because it's not like I'm making a ton of money. It's not like I'm killing it out there doing hair. And so, and I always was thinking about my grandma. And my grandma, my mom's mom, she was able to support herself and 4 kids on her own as a nurse. And so I kept thinking, well, I need to become a nurse. And I already had 1 child, and I was already locked down in this horrific relationship. And so, but at that point in my life, I thought, well, now I've made a commitment. You know, I'm kind of stuck. I'm locked in. I told God I would do it. And so I was like kind of stuck. And I couldn't like see like, well, then I've got to go out against my word. How am I going to do that? And then I had a strong feeling of wherever you are is where you're supposed to be, because that's what you're supposed to learn from. And so I felt like, you know, I'm where I'm supposed to be, but it was not a happy place. So so I had thought I want to be a nurse, and so I went, and this card came in the mail, and it was talking about a school for becoming medical in nursing. And so I thought it was to become a nurse. And so I went down to the school to sign up. And then they said, well, it was to be a medical assistant. Well, I didn't even know what a medical assistant was. And so it's like a doctor office nurse. And so I was like, well, you know, I'm already here. Let's just do this thing. Let's sign up, because I got to have some kind of job. So I started that school, and which was only like 9 months of school. And it was like $5,000 or something. And so the so I went to that school. But when I got in, and then you got to like the practical, the practical and the clinical and stuff, just like in nursing school. But when it got to the clinical part, then they said, well, we're gonna practice on each other with needles. And that's where I lost my mind. I was like, the same thing as when I had the mountain lion in my yard, and I'd had that nightmare my whole life when I was a kid about being eaten by the tiger. So I was like, or a lion, whatever. It was a big cat. That's all I remember. So I was scared to death of animals that I thought could eat you, like mountain lions and stuff. So it panicked me when that whole thing happened. And then my guide showed me the whole thing I've talked about with Stella and all that stuff. So then, like my spirit animal and stuff. So then, but when I was at this school and they said about the needles, it was the same kind of reaction where I was like, oh my frickin' God, there's no way. There's no way I can let somebody just start poking me with a needle and then trying to draw my blood. Like, what? You could practice on me? I was like, hell no. And I started panicking. I was ready to quit school. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to get it together. I'm going to have to do this. And so I had to use my brain and figure out how to overcome my fear. And so how I did it was minimize. So every time I would think about the needle, where I would start thinking like it was this giant thing, I would keep making it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and putting it in perspective. Okay, it's a tiny little prick. It's a tiny little thing. It's so small. And so reversing my over exaggeration and reversing it, pulling it back in and pulling it back in, and minimizing what it was, so that I could keep myself calm. Then I had to also, use like breathing and calming techniques that I just came up. Well, I don't want to say I just came up with them, because my guides always guide me and they help me go through these things. But yeah, that's when I learned how to overcome fear by minimizing what it is that you're scared of. You know, just like people who are real scared of spiders. And in their mind, the spider's getting bigger and bigger and it's coming after them and stuff like that. So when you keep going smaller and smaller, it's just this little tiny thing. It's got to fear me more than I got to fear it. And you get smaller and smaller. And then you start being like, you know, you start telling yourself it can't hurt me. I can hurt it, but it can't hurt me. And yeah, it may move weird, but it's got to get around. And so you just start talking yourself down. You start talking yourself through it, not building into whatever it is, the fear. So instead of building into the fear, because I've got a horrible thing with heights. And then at my cabin, you know, when I was painting it and stuff, that was one of the things where I was like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to do that? I have to get up high on the ladder. And then I did it. You know, when I would go up, I would just have to keep myself calm. I would just have to keep doing breathing. Don't look down. Just focus on what I'm doing. Don't focus on anything else. Don't focus on how high I am. Don't focus on anything. Don't focus on the ladder. Don't focus on falling. Just focus on what I'm doing, what I'm doing, what I'm doing, what I'm doing. And don't let any of the other stuff interfere and start scattering me and getting me emotional and getting me in that state of adrenaline and fear and freaking out. So, so I was able to do that. Then also, I have a horrible thing about getting closed in. And it's not just like, you know, oh, go get an MRI, you know, and they're always like, do you have a problem with closed in spaces? That doesn't bother me. It's more of like, I probably in some life I was in a cave that I couldn't get out of, or it collapsed or something, because it's more like that. That gives me this horrible, horrible anxiety. And even thinking about those things, caving in and going in, and that feeling of being trapped in there, that panics me. And I don't know, it could have been, you know, I was buried alive at some point, and I was in the coffin, and I have that kind of feeling of like, oh God, I don't want to be in this closed in space and I can't get out. Because that's another thing that horrifies me when they show that movies. And that started being like a common thing in scary movies, where they started having people being buried alive. I think there was some even when I was a kid in some movies, but we got way more, you know, where, you know, bury somebody alive and leave them in the ground. And that whole thing, that gives me like total panic. And so, and I'm not gonna, you know, I mean, I just don't even want to think about that one. I don't even want to consider having to work your way out of the, you know, like I'm buried alive in a coffin. I gotta just talk myself down. It's like, I just want to hold my breath and die. I don't want to go through this. So, yeah. So anyways, but with the things that you can control and the things that you can, then you have to like talk yourself through it with your mind. Like you have to find the balance. You're going off in this direction. How do you pull yourself back into the other direction? But in our society, in our world, we have people who are it's so out of balance. It's just like all over the place. And it's becoming so crystal clear because of everything that is pushing people at this point. And so, yeah, I mean, we've got, but whatever this event is supposed to occur, then that is the thing. It's going to lead people into getting a grip, you know, confirmation. So it's going to lead people into getting a grip on life and getting, I don't know, you know, if it's going to be like people being trapped in their homes and having to talk themselves down, you know. And that's the thing, is you got to talk yourself down. You got to talk yourself off the ledge. You know, that's the saving yourself. You know, you have the ability to save yourself. And a lot of people just don't want to recognize that. They just want things to be easy. But things aren't easy. We're not at a place to just have things be easy. We're in a place that we chose to come to that is the depths of hell. I say it's hell. And the only way out is to pull yourself out, to pull yourself free, to climb out of the hole. And there's nobody who's, even if there's people who can throw the rope into you, you still have to do the climbing. There's nobody here that can save you. So it's up to each of us to figure out what it is that we need and then to give it to ourselves. And so, and you have the abilities to do that. In this world, they want to, make it, you believe that you are a nothing, a worthless, you're just some natural accident, that you have no reason, no purpose to even be in existence. But there was, many of us who were born, and then we started knowing, well, if we were born and we're here, there's a reason for it. And so starting trying to understand, because we knew that we were something, and that was never a question to us. We knew we were something. We just had to figure out why we were here. And so, but there's a lot of people who do buy into the thing that you're nothing. You're just an accident. And when you die, you're gone forever. And that dying can happen, accidentally and stuff. It's not a set thing. And it's like, no, is a definite. You have a window of time in all of the different, we're going into a different state of being, because we're not going to be dying. That's not going to be the end for us. We're going to be able to exist as long as we want to exist in the reality that we want to exist in. But before, we had a window of time. We had a opportunity to go in and experience a space and time and play a role in a reality for it's like the existence of man, and to get to play a different role in what it is to be a man, a woman, a human, in different times and space. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. So, if you get my drift. Okay, I better kind of move this thing. She just crushes it on me. These dogs is just, they don't give a shit. They don't care. That's my whine all the time. Like, you guys don't care about me. Nobody cares if I eat. Nobody cares if I sleep. You guys just want what you want all the time. It's so true. It's so true. So anyways, so in this time, at this period of time, this is a new time. This is a new evolution of man, but as you have to pull yourself into this space and time. But before, you always had a window of time. You had a birth time and an end time. So you had that much space to be able to go in and have an experience. And it's funny because even people, like, if a person dies and they're young, a child, a young person, and they die, and they think like, oh, it's so horrible, they didn't get to live their whole life and stuff, but they completed their task. They came in and did what they had to do. They didn't need to be here longer. And so we should be a lot more in celebration than we should with anybody who goes through loss is going to go through mourning. It's a part of the experience. They're supposed to go through that part. And so, because you learn so much about how you look at things and how you treat people when you have a loss like that, because then you reevaluate. Because you start thinking, I should have spent more time with them. I should have never said that. I should have never done that. Because I was thinking about this the other day, Stella wakes me up. I'm grumpy. Like, when I get woke up, I'm grumpy as fuck. That's all I can say. I am, like, I'm a bear. Like, you push me on some things, I turn into a hellcat. You push me on waking me up, I am not pleasant. And so, and she's got the wrath of it because she wakes me up nonstop all the time for years now. And so the other day I was like getting so irritated, and she was like whining and whining. I'm like, stop it. Will you stop it? I'm trying to sleep. Stop it. And so, I was thinking, like if I woke up and she didn't wake up, like how would I feel? And I don't know if I talked about this the other day about this dog communicator who was talking about oh yeah, I did, the stages of the passing and stuff like that. And so I was thinking, if I woke up and she didn't wake up, that I would be really sad, of course. But I was thinking, it's weird because I know that she would be forgiving of me. She wouldn't be affected by, me being grumpy at night and stuff like that. Even that dog, she just pushes harder. Even that dog that was talking about the communication, I mean, when you hear these ones say, yeah, that they don't sit there and hold grudges on us. They're not mad at us over something, that they get it. They understand. And so I knew like she would understand that I was grumpy, but it's you. That's the thing. It's you. You will fall apart by how you acted. It will eat you up. It will keep chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing. And you keep thinking about it and thinking about it. Like, why did I do that? God, that was our last day and I'm just grumpy. Oh my God. We'll just like beat ourselves down. And that is in all states of loss. And that is a part of the grieving process, but it is a part of the learning process. It's a part of the awareness process. It's a part of the learning the value of life and time, and our words have meaning, and how we behave has an impact on us. And people think like so much is like, they just put it out. But this is the thing, is things are about to bring it back, and people are about to get what's coming to them. People are going to get, this is the thing too, is like people want to get revenge and all this stuff. I've said before, it's not your job. It's nothing you need to do. The universe has got a system, and this is where we're going to see their system at work. And we will, what you put out will come back to you. And so the people who have, done things, that their just will come. It is not, it is just the way it works. It's just how the universe works. But when it comes to your, how you look at yourself, then it is, we're all hard on ourselves, and we'll be like mad at ourselves, and we'll keep chewing on it, beating ourselves down and beating ourselves down. And that is a part of where you got to let go. You got to let go of your shame and your guilt and your anger at yourself. Because, yeah, that's the thing, is like, when somebody goes, you'll keep feeling so bad, like, oh, I should have never said that. I should have never done that. I should have never said that. And it's crazy too, because once their soul is on the other side, they can hear and see and experience your experience on a different level. Like they know you're upset about these things. And it's almost like you get to have a life review while over this situation before you pass. You really look at it so much more clear. You have such a clarity over your behavior and looking at yourself over and over and over. But you can't stay stuck. Everything that you got to move through things. And so, but that is a part of your learning and growing and stuff like that. And it gives you so much more ability of appreciation for what life is, and it makes you more mindful. And so, but that is the thing, is that you will be angry at yourself, even though the person who you feel that you wronged, they don't feel that same thing, but you'll feel it so much to yourself. Like, Miss Stella would not, I mean, she would, well, she would be free out of her broken body. She'd be running free. Um, and then plus, since she's my spirit animal, she would stick around me, which is so trippy. If you have any opportunity with your spirit animal, you know, like, it is so trippy. Like, it's so funny because the dog trainer guy comes. He's like, yeah, dogs don't understand. People sit there talking to their dogs like they understand. And I'm thinking, well, I'm one of those people, by the way. But go on with yourself. So, he's like, you know, you got to use one word. You got to do this. And that's all they know and stuff like that. And they don't understand. Well, if you're somebody who talks to your dogs all the time, you do see, like, they understand stuff. And they all understand it at different levels. And Archie, he's a smart little nugget. He's smart as hell. And you can watch him stop, think, but sometimes he gets caught up in his own business and he's like, no, I'm doing my thing. I can't be bothered. But he is very smart. And so I can recognize that. Ruthie, I can recognize she's smart as hell. And but she also, I mean, she's got the hormones of a puppy. Like, she's on impulse drive all the time. She's go, 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 go. I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to jump over here. Oh, my God, the amount of jumping on me yesterday when I got home. It is something I just don't even know how. That's where he said, well, that's where a good shot collar would come in. Is like, you put that on her before you go to the store. You go to the store, you come home, and then when she starts going crazy, then you can stop her with that collar. And, in which, Jesus, man, it's like I'm freaking fighting her. It's like we're having this, like, I'm trying to block her. She's jumping up. And then when I'm trying to block her, she'll get up on the chair and try and jump out. It's like, girl, I just went to the store. God damn. So, and it goes on for 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, she loses her freaking mind. Like, I've never experienced anything like it. And then Max, I know he can hear, but he just has, like, he just does what he wants to do. He doesn't give a shit. He'll just look at you like, I'm going to do what I want. And, but Stella, she's another level, man. She is, and I guess it's because we're so connected in our souls, but yeah, like, I can sit here and say so much stuff to her, and she'll just sit and listen, and she'll go do it. It's like, dude, you cannot tell me that dogs do not understand what you're saying. I've experienced something very different. And she knows how to play, you know, just before, like how she used to use the bells if she was just trying to communicate with me at the cabin and stuff. So she would use the bells, and she would ring the bell, and I would get up to go let her out, and then she'd go in the kitchen and to go over to the cabinets where the treats were, the food were, and then she'd stand there like, nope, that's what I want. I got your attention. Get over here and give me what I want. So she's really good about doing that. So she's always good about, I mean, she uses whining a lot, but she's good at communicating with me what she wants, something. And so now she's figured out, like, well, they all take off and go out running around and going crazy. And when they do that, I get treats. So I just hang out with Mom, and then she gives me stuff. So now she started manipulating this situation. She started being like, okay, let's all go out. And then she'll get them to all go out. And then as soon as they go out, she comes back in and goes over to the stuff. It's like, oh, she's a little tricky one. So yeah, she is, and there's no way that anybody could convince me that dogs don't have any sense and they don't think for themselves and they're not. Yeah, I've experienced something way different. So anyways, but if she were to go, and I would carry so much guilt and so much anger at myself over being grumpy at night when she's whining. And I know that she would not be holding on to it the way I would be holding on to it. And I know that we each as individuals, we have to process through our own view of ourselves, our own way that we look at ourselves. And that is what so much of the stuff going on is, giving people the opportunity to look at yourself and see yourself in different forms, in different perspectives, so that you can find balance in yourself, clarity in yourself, so you can figure yourself out. And because the universe, you know, wants it to be available to everybody, for everybody to get to move on and move up and be able to have more control of your life, but you also have to show that you're ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, it's not going to push you. It's not going to shame you. It's not going to tell you, you know, well, you should have been ready. You should have done this. It's like whoever's ready is ready, and whoever's not ready is not ready. And it will become crystal clear. It's not like you can push somebody into being ready. They're either ready for the new existence, or they're not. And the new existence just has a lot to do with acceptance and being able to not be in judgment, not be wanting to linger and arguing and sides and stuff, to be able to just be accepting of people, also to be accepting of yourself, because there's so much of this stuff that goes on that brings up so much guilt and shame and anger and sadness and bitterness. So all those things are coming up, so you can purge them out, so you can relieve yourself of them, so you can let them go. But you, in a lot of sense, or a lot of cases, you have to go deeper in to see where is this growing from? Where the roots lie? It's like you got to dig under the dirt to find where the roots of the weed are to get the whole thing out. And it's the same thing with yourself. You have to dig down deeper and find where is this growing. And then sometimes, yeah, it's growing and it's attached to something else over here. I mean, so however that is, like how some weeds, like there's a weed growing over here, and then underground it starts sending out other ones, and then they start growing. So you can pull this one, but it still is attached over to this one, and they'll just keep growing back. You have to find everything and cut it out. You got to get it out of you. So you have to go deeper into your soul to find what it is that is your burdens. Why do you have these certain emotions? And why do they have such a stranglehold on you? How do you let go of them? And so that's all of the process, what is to do with the now in this time period. And that's why they want to just keep the turmoil going. But on one sense of it, it is also these things that are going to help you if you let them, use them to your benefit to purge out the emotions and the pain that you have lingering. So they can keep you trapped if you just keep spinning around and keep you on the hamster wheel of pain and suffering, unless you start using these experiences to your benefit, to start trying to go in deeper into yourself, to understand yourself, so that you can relieve yourself out of the pain and suffering that you find yourself existing in. And a part of it, you know, is knowing you're eternal, knowing nothing can harm you, knowing this is all a big game, knowing it's all a big movie. It's not real life. Isn't what we had, for our first decades of life, what we believed real life was is not what real life is. And that's the big part of all of the disclosure and waking up, is to realize that this is not what they told us. And you let go of all of these concepts and ideals so that you can move into the supernatural world of existence, and you can then become, you know, your eternal being, where you get to go and start living as yourself and live how you want, when you want, where you want, as a being of light, as a living light being, an eternal being, because that's what you are. And so anyways, but we'll see. We'll see what today is going to bring us. And we may not even know until this evening, because this thing is supposed to be this evening. And so I don't know, you know, who knows, man? Who knows? Like, what's going to happen? Is something going to happen in the sky? I'll tell you what, our sky is wacky. I can't even tell. It is so wacky over here. It is so obvious that there's a bunch of different skies up there. There's weird colors coming through, like those iridescent kind of rainbow, just color, just a little hole just with these colors coming through it. Then you have different skies, different colors of like the pollution. Like it's just wacky out there. Our sky is crazy. So nothing would surprise me if stuff started blowing up in the sky. But whatever is going to go is how it's going to play out. It's not like we have control over. It's not like we need to fear it. It's just whatever's going to be is going to be. and then we just have to roll with the punches. And so, anyways, but now here at my bunker, I feel like I'm ready to hunker down in the bunker, ready to just deal with whatever comes. And hopefully it's not, instigators coming out here to, wreak havoc. Hopefully they've got enough to do in the inner cities. But I don't know. There's going to be all sorts of stuff that's going to go down. So, I mean, they could have, BOMBs go off in different cities, and they could create so much chaos that the police can't even, like, there's no telling, because the hospitals and because some things will be real, but so those kinds of things could be real. Like if things start going off in the cities and people start getting hurt and hospitals start filling up and police start getting overrun, then but that still doesn't mean that the thing if this big thing happens at the Super Bowl, it's still, to me, it is, in the likelihood, I feel like it's 51% at least likely that it would be faked, just like how the towers were. So I feel like, and they did, blow them, but it was, they did it. But so the whole storyline and all the stuff they said was all fake. So that's the thing is, and they could, like I said yesterday, it could very well be that this whole thing is going to be a big giant show. And so it's going to be a big traumatic show to really traumatize us, to get us to, it's like the universe slapping you awake. It's like, wake up and pull yourself together. And so that's the thing. We'll just have to see. We got to just see what goes, and then you just deal with what happens and just continue to go. So, I mean, and then if things do go down and grids go down and stuff like that, then obviously I'm not going to be able to put on a video. But, if things are up and running and we have internet and stuff like that, I'll still post. But in some places, there's going to be all sorts of things happening. Because in England, I guess, like the people have stormed the castle. They want the royals out. They want their prime minister. Like there's people who are on the list. There's all sorts of stuff where they are like, so there's stuff going on all over the place. So I just thought it was kind of funny where they're just like, they're storming the castle. They want Charles out of there. So it wasn't just stuff with Andrew. There's more going on. So anyways, but there's stuff going on all over the place. And, but there's like something that creates an instant of change. And once we get to that point of change, it's not going to be like, oh, suddenly we're in the age of Aquarius and everything's wonderful. It's like suddenly everything is going to stop and go the other direction. And when things turn suddenly, that is going to be a big thing to the general population, to the most people, to the GP out there. That is going to be the big heading towards the healing direction. So that's when we're going to just begin we're just going to start going in a better direction, is all I can say. And who knows how long it's going to still take us to get to the age of Aquarius, where everybody's happy and creative and feeling good, and we're starting, but it could go in segments, like places get destroyed, so new places start, and that brings up a lot of joy and creativity in people. And people start seeing, counties or towns start that don't have rulers, and people start living more free. So, it'll just keep going up and up and up until pretty soon our whole world is like that. So that's probably kind of where it would go, more like that than just all of a sudden, boom, one day we're all just living this way. It's like the steps to get there. So we're in the steps to get to where we're going. And that's where you got to stay focused, even though, some of this trail is treacherous. Just remember, there's a beautiful thing up ahead. It's like the people who climb up the mountains and go through all those treacherous paths and everything to get up to the top of the mountain just for the view. So as we got to remember, there's a view up there that we want. We want to see what's up ahead. And so we got to overcome all these rocks and stumble and all of the debris in the way. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Just keep your focus. And when you're keeping your focus, keep it on you. And remember what you need to be doing is learning how to love yourself, letting go of all the stuff that this brings up. Learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody. Like, this division's got to go. There's no world where we're going to live like this again. And so this has got to end. As, hate your neighbor if they don't vote like you. So learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, and learning how to have the day you want. Figure out how to zoom in and zoom out. Figure out how to, when something's becoming too big, pull it back in. Pull yourself together. Pull yourself together, folks. So anyways, we're going to go eat some applesauce cake and have another cup of tea. So I'll post this, and as this thing's falling apart in my hands, and the powers that be, if it's in my favor, then I will see you in the morning. So we'll talk about whatever happens, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.